So it's pretty early on in this World of Warcraft expansion, and kind of just like the last expansion, I set off on a goal to complete a Mythic Plus dungeon plus 10, and I didn't just want to get carried, I wanted to heal the dungeon on my Discipline Priest. And so here's just a video of my run and some of the things I had to overcome to complete this plus 10 as a healer. So going into the dungeon, I already had a pretty solid idea of all of the bosses and the trash and all of the abilities I'd be up against as a Discipline Priest, because unlike some healers, and people just think healing is just you click an ally and you heal them, but for the Discipline Priest you need to know when damage is going to be coming onto your party so that you can prepare for that massive burst healing. The Disc Priest is just pretty complex overall, so you really need to know the dungeon inside and out. And out of all the dungeons in this season, Mists of Tirna Scithe is the only one that I actually remember from previous expansions. So I chose this dungeon to be the dungeon that I would push a plus 10 on. I had already completed a plus 9 on this dungeon, but the jump from a level 9 to a level 10 is pretty big because it introduces another affix, which basically makes the mobs and the bosses have more health and do more damage. So one of the first plus 10 dungeons I attempted, I had a pretty good group and we were only about 3 or 5 minutes over time, so it was pretty close. I also copied the talent trees that the top Discipline Priests are using at the moment. The talents I was using were, I just copied off a YouTuber, but they were just wrong. And I also installed a weak aura pack, which kind of helped, but I didn't use all of the weak auras. I already had most of the dungeon set up through little wigs. But the weak aura for the final boss really helped out a lot, because when the final boss gets to a certain amount of health, the boss will start doing massive damage to the whole party until its shields are broken. And the final boss is just chaos, so it's important to be prepared for that. But yeah, I'm not in a guild or anything, so I don't have that many people to play with. So I just had to use the group finder. And if you're not a Mythic Raider and have the absolute highest item level, then that means you're going to get declined for a lot of the groups that you sign up for. And running pugs, you won't always have the best group. This will usually involve getting blamed as a healer, having a rogue trash talk your tank even though he's actually doing a good job, or just having DPS die to the most basic mechanics, which is fine. I mean, we're not all perfect and we sometimes slip up. One of my runs, I had this tank who just couldn't survive the first pull. I don't know why. I used my pain suppression on him like twice, I think, and we just couldn't get past the first pull. We tried a few times, but yeah, it just wasn't happening. The tank just wasn't surviving, which is completely fine. It happens. No one's perfect, and yeah, this group was pretty chill about it. I was having a lot of trouble with the 2 mobs before the first boss. When they get to 50% health, both of them do massive AoE damage. And yeah, as a Discipline Priest, if you're not prepared for it, then it's just not going to go very well. So I'll just ask the party not to sync up the Furious Thrashing so that I can deal with the massive AoE damage one at a time. I was also tempted to ask if everyone could kind of stay sort of close during the final boss, because if I'm on one side of the boss and a DPS is over the other side of the boss, over 2 zones away in fucking Narnia, then there's just no way that I can heal them, which has happened a couple of times, but I just don't really want to be annoying, you know. Also, we're only on about week 9 from the release of the War Within, so we're pretty early on in the expansion, and so completing a plus 10 is not an easy thing to do, for me at least. And like all of the big WoW streamers like Nagora and Zaryu are grinding plus 11s and 12s and only just starting to push plus 13s. So timing a plus 10 is a pretty big personal achievement for me. Anyways, I just want to sort of commentate over the run because yeah, I got a really good group. These DPS and this tank, they know what they're doing, and also it looked like the tank was sort of having the same problem I was having, where they couldn't get past the first set of mobs because I guess the DPS just weren't interrupting. It's kind of funny, we're both just, the tank and the healer are both going into the dungeon, just like setting the record straight, like, you guys got to do this and this. I mean, we don't want to come across as bossy or anything, but like, I mean, if we're going into a +10, then things kind of need to be, yeah, they need to be pretty perfect, I guess. Anyway, so this first pull, I was a little bit confused at first because he was doing a bit of a different route than I was used to. And also in this first pull, something really unfortunate happened, which was sort of my fault. It was my fault, but it also wasn't at the same time. But yeah, one of the shamans ended up dying on the first pull because I tried to cast a Mind Blast, which is a really important spell to cast because it does an insane amount of burst healing. But my cast doesn't go off, and I wasn't sure why it didn't go off because, you know, everything's happening so quickly and it's pretty chaotic. I'll just slow it down a little bit. So you see I wrap around the side here to get out of the way of the frontal attack from the tree, but that unfortunately caused the smaller mob that I was targeting to jump towards me, and for some reason it ended up behind me, and the second it was behind me, one of the DPSs, I think, stunned everything. So the mob was behind me and it was stunned, and just real unfortunate timing just as I was casting my Mind Blast. So my Mind Blast didn't go off, which is important because it turns your smite into a Void Blast. So there was a lot of healing there that could have been done to save the shaman who was being focused by the tree. But yeah, it was just unfortunate, and it was a little bit of my fault as well. Like, usually going into this first pull, I will focus the big tree so that I don't have to keep switching targets and stuff, but because the tank did a different route, it kind of threw me off a little bit. But yeah, this pull usually goes a lot more smoother. So for the first pull, you just need to stay in melee distance of everything. Otherwise the mobs will jump towards you and they'll put a stacking debuff on you. That will just keep stacking up and doing damage to you. Oh yeah, and this is just one more thing I wanted to point out. Like, the very second after I pain suppress the tank, his health gets extremely low, which means he probably would have died if I didn't do that, because pain suppression, it reduces all damage that you take by 40% for 8 seconds. So I don't know, it's just cool to see little things like that after watching this back. Oh yeah, and I guess this is why he was doing a different route here, so that we can kill the mobs on the left there, and then kill this tree here as well, just to get our percent up a bit, so that we don't have to kill as many mobs at the end. It's actually a pretty smart route, actually. I'm really popping off here. Everyone is actually like really popping off. Like, they're doing insane damage. I kind of wanted to have another damage meter so I can see my healing done and the damage done. But I just couldn't be bothered to figure out how to do that with the details add-on. It doesn't really matter though. I can see like the damage done after the dungeon anyways. But yeah, it's a pretty decent first pull. Yeah. I only had one death. No deaths would have been ideal, but yeah. Mind Soothe that guy. Doing the usual route. You don't want to pull those mobs on the side there. That's just asking for a bad time. But yeah, going into any pull, basically, my setup is just rapture everyone, and then yeah, go into my Shadow Covenant and blast away. If anyone's watching this and doesn't know how discipline works, actually, this is something I want to point out. Like, if you want to know if your party knows what they're doing, if you walk up that ramp just a little bit, then the two mobs, the two thrashing mobs will come towards you. And this tank is actually an MVP, man. He actually pulled the two mobs into the area where we get the mushrooms, which give us a buff. And yeah, so at 50% health, these two mobs will start doing massive AoE damage, and I can see now he's getting close to 50% health. So I think, yeah, sorry, I radiance everyone, and then I hit I hit my ultimate penance, which, you know, does massive healing. And then I think there's another, yeah, so there's another thrashing, which I've got my Shadow Covenant ready for. I think I hit it. Yeah, I hit my Shadow Covenant, but a little bit too late there. But yeah, I wasn't, yeah, that was a mistake by me. I wasn't, I did hit my Luminous Barrier, which shielded everyone, but yeah, I just didn't have my Atonement off on everyone, so yeah, I wasn't that ready. But at least they listened to me and didn't sync up the Furious Thrashing, because there's just so much going on. Anyways, this first boss there's not much going on in this first boss, so yeah, if anyone doesn't know how Discipline Priest works, I might as well just quickly go over it. So I put a, you need to put a dot on every ally, and then the dot lasts from 10 seconds to 14 seconds, not very long at all. Well, using Power Word Radiance, it'll put a dot on everyone for 8 seconds, which isn't very long at all. And then once you have a dot on everyone, you do damage, and that damage that you do will be converted to healing. And it's really good for burst healing. Like you see there, like the Warlock didn't have a dot on him, so yeah, it's kind of annoying when people stand too far away, because then I have to like individually cast a dot on them. So yeah, so this first boss, what you do is you DPS down the tree, and then the tree will turn on Marlock, I think his name is, and then that will drop his shields or something like that, so that you can start DPSing down Marlock. So the smaller guy is the guy that we need to kill. And yeah, there's not that much healing that I need to do here, but I do have a Lil Wigs countdown for one ability. I think it's Embrace Darkness, where Marlock will put a dot on everyone, and it's not the worst dot, but yeah, it's not the worst dot. Like, if everyone's perfect and just uses their own defenses, then theoretically I don't need to heal at all here, but you know, it's been a pain in the past, so I got a Lil Wigs countdown for it, just so I can prepare for it, so that everything goes as smooth as possible. Anyways, coming in here, yeah, just rapture everyone, and I mean, for a plus 10, like these DPS, they are absolutely melting these mobs. Like, look how quickly they just died. And then my team is also on top of you know, figuring out the maze part. I don't believe anybody has the maze add-on. So I did help out through the maze towards the end here. Yeah, you would think anyone signing up for plus 10s would have the the maze add-on installed, like the maze tracker, but yeah, I went ahead and installed one myself, because yeah, turns out that people sign up for plus 10s and they just don't have they just don't have some add-ons, some important add-ons. I guess you could just wing it, but you could just wing it and just like do the maze the proper way, but it saves on a bit of time. These first two packs aren't too bad. It's the next packs that are a bit more tricky, which I need to look out for the tank. But yeah, it's a pretty good, pretty decent affix to push a plus 10 on, because I can dispel all of those orb things, but Yeah, I think you can just AoE them. I don't think they have that much health, so I guess the DPS can help out with the affix, because I don't know about you, but it seems like a lot of affixes are healer based, like as if we don't have enough to do already. But yeah, here's the maze add-on that I installed. But yeah, I think it's these packs is where I need to look out for the tank, because yeah, it starts to get pretty tricky. I mean, these mobs, they do a lot of damage. It's just really nice. I think I pain suppressed them here, because yeah, it's hard to tell, like I haven't got a grasp of every single tank yet, but usually for like say monks or paladins or warriors, usually when their health starts to get pretty low, is when you need to help them out. So I gave them a pain suppression there. Usually like halfway or towards the end of the fight, where they have all of their cooldowns. All of the CDs are on cooldown. But yeah, so I'm not a mythic raider, and I don't have the highest eye level. I'm not in a guild, and you know, I get declined. I was getting declined from say like 8 out of 10 groups I signed up for, even being a healer. So what I ended up doing was I started grinding some like quests and doing some lower level keys to increase my item level. I tried to do like a +4 and a +5, and honestly, keys down at the lower level, they're freaking, yeah, they're really bad. Yeah, if you think +10s are bad, oh my god, it's pretty rough. Yeah, this is another really tricky pack. So yeah, just rapture everyone, Shadow Covenant, and just do insane amount of healing. Dispel him. And then this is a thing where everyone gets rooted, and then yeah, it's hard for me to see, like as a healer we're always looking at our raid frame, so it's hard to see where everyone is. I just kind of like eyeball it where I need to dispel. And I guess I got lucky there and got dispel off on everyone. And then one thing as a healer is like, you know, you need to make sure, you need to keep yourself alive as well. And see here, I'm like, this is when I realized I'm the only one that has the add-on. But yeah, as a healer, you need to look after yourself, even though, you know, you've got to be healing the whole party, you've got to keep yourself alive. So for this boss, I've got a countdown for whenever she does the dodgeball, so I'm ready for that. So I'll do like a, what do you call it, angelic feather. So I have a little bit more mobility to move out of the way. And then I've also got a weak aura. Well, it was already in Little Wigs for the guessing game. So what I'll do is I'll put atonement off everyone, and I'll click the talent which extends the atonement, and then go into Shadow Covenant and I'll just keep DPSing down the main boss so that I don't have to like switch targets and just get confused. And then yeah, because when the guessing game starts, the whole party will start taking damage, like a lot of damage. So yeah, I just need to be prepared for that. And then here's the second guessing game. So what I'll do is I'll hit my barrier, which puts a shield on everyone. And then my Shadow Covenant's up at the moment. Then Power of Radiance. Luckily everyone was in range, so I've got an atonement off it on everyone. And yeah, everyone's healed back to full health. Again, this group is insane. Like the DPS, like that guessing game didn't last for very long at all. So yeah, so that was really good. I've had groups where the guessing game lasts for ages, and I'm just like struggling trying to heal everyone while they try and figure out which butterfly it is they need to focus, which it isn't easy. So that's why I'm so prepared for it. Because yeah, during the guessing game, everyone just constantly takes damage. I don't really, I pain suppress the tank here. I didn't really need to. I don't think the tank takes that much damage. I'm not too sure. Anyways, here's the third guessing game. I already raptured everyone. And then I think I increased the duration. Oh, the warlock got booped by the dodgeball. It happens. By the way, the Vulpin was actually just started charging me here, and I feared it just in time. Like, I don't know, that was pretty clutch, to be honest. Actually, let's get a replay on that. That was kind of really cool. Like, I don't even know why it was moving so fast. I don't remember them charging at you that quickly. But yeah, that's the second boss done. The Warlock did get booped there by the dodgeballs, which is unfortunate. Like, it does happen. Like, he could have avoided it, but sometimes the arrows are like lined up in a way that even if you do run, then you can still get hit if you're not close enough to the boss. By the way, I love using levitate at this part of the dungeon. It's actually so satisfying. Oh. Looks like the tank fell and still survived. The tank literally just fell off that cliff and still survived. So these mobs do massive AoE damage, and usually I just look on their nameplate and I'd be able to tell when the cast was coming. But in the Weak Auras pack I installed, it came with it came with a cast bar Weak Aura, which I just put on my screen. I put just above my party frames, so it's a little bit easier to tell when the big AoE damage is coming out. And yeah, it is a lot of damage, so it's kind of important to be prepared for that. But yeah, at this point I haven't died once. No, we've only had like 2 deaths, and so I'm like going into like full try hard mode at the moment. Usually the tank will pull these mobs into the mobs across the other side, but I guess this tank was kind of smart and just wanted to play it safe, which is completely fine by me. I mean, I had Rapture and Pain Suppression ready in case you did want to do that, as well as a shield barrier, but yeah, I don't mind taking it safe. So yeah, and then I PI the Warlock. I honestly don't know who the PI. I just share it around the group, really. But yeah, here's that massive AoE damage I'm talking about. But yeah, I got my Shadow Covenant up now, so one's pretty much invincible. It's annoying, I need to run out of the way of the swirlies. And then, yeah, see, I hit my shield barrier before the AoE damage came there, and it helped out so much. Yeah, it's annoying as a priest, because priests are really slow, so it takes it's hard to dodge those things sometimes. Those swirlies on the ground, and then at the same time heal the party. But yeah, I got atonement off on everyone. Hit my Shadow Covenant, and everyone's good. See, like right there, like I was trying to dot everyone with atonement, and yeah, I just had to move out of the way, and it's just puts a delay on on healing everyone, and it's rough. But yeah, last pull. Last pull. I think this is the last pull. Yeah. Rapture everyone. Void Blast casts. Yeah, right here. I was like, what? Why can't I attack? And I just hadn't focused there. Anyway. Because like these guys, they're just so good. They just DPS these mobs down so quickly that yeah, I just didn't have a mob to target. And yeah, I kind of need to target a mob to heal everyone. Yeah, so we only need like 4% before the boss. So. By the way, if you're wondering what the buttons on the side beside the party frames are, that's my oh shit button. So like, if I'm getting low on health, then I have 2 spells there, which will restore a fair bit of health, and then I've also got my health potion, which does the most amount of healing to me. I don't think many people would like my UI, but like I don't like having my party frames and all of my CDs and spells in the middle of my screen, because I don't know how you would see. But yeah, everyone just has their own preferences, I guess. But yeah, just gotta make sure that everyone's at full health before the boss. And now we're on to the boss fight. And so, like I was saying at the start of the video, when the boss's health gets to a certain percent, it will start doing massive party-wide damage. And so that's just something that I'll need to look out for. So I've got a countdown in Lil Wigs for the Mind Link. The Mind Link is basically you get Mind Linked on top of the tank and you need to break it, otherwise everyone starts taking damage. And then here's that weak aura on my screen, which is letting me know to get ready. So as you can see, I dotted everyone in the party before this happened, and then Shadow Word Covenant's up so that I can stand as far away as I want, dodging everything while at the same time healing the party. And like these DPSs, they burn through the shield so quickly that the party-wide damage doesn't last for that long. But still, it's really important for really important for me to get those heals off. Looks like a shaman died there somehow. So now I'm just waiting for the next big AoE to come. See the weak auras on my screen, so I start dotting everyone. Shadow Word Covenant. I mean, just got my Covenant up. Then Penance, so everyone's getting healed. Mind Blast, that did a bunch of healing. Also ran over to the tank like an idiot during the Mind Link, and I don't know why. I don't think I've ever had the consumption phase and the Mind Link phase overlap like that before. So yeah, that was kind of stupid by me. I was just trying to run over towards the other players so that I could heal them. But yeah, this boss is absolute chaos, and I think here finally I have the Atonement off on everyone, so I can finally heal them. And then yeah, I was ready for that Mind Link, and I quickly unlinked it. PI'd the Shaman, Pain Suppress the tank, and yeah, at this point I'm like, yeah, we've got this, like home stretch. Oh yeah, I only just realized that someone must have put a marker on my head before the fight, because yeah, you'll want to stay close to your healer on this fight, so it's just another way of being able to tell that this party knows what they're doing. And there we go, Mists of Tirna, Keystone Master. Yeah, I'd say that was a pretty decent run. It was just a matter of getting a really good team that just doesn't die to dumb stuff, that knows how to use defensives. And but yeah, it was tough finding a group, and I really appreciate like this guy for inviting me to his key, because my item level is at 619. It was at 617, but yeah, I did a bunch of lower level dungeons to increase it, because everyone's being picky in pugs at the moment, which is fine, but it's like we're only 9 weeks into the expansion, so it's like it's a bit rough. So yeah, I really appreciate this guy. And I actually ended up adding the party leader after this, so we can run some more later, and also the tank. The tank's really nice. After this, we actually ran a +11, no, +10 Akara City of Echoes. Yeah, we almost timed it. There's actually a couple bugs caused us to die a couple times, and I was lacking a little bit healing the trash there. I'm not that used to the trash, and not only that, but it's a +10. So anyways, that's about it for the video. There's set up on a goal to complete a +10 Mists of Tirna Messiah. And yeah, that's about it. See you later.